Hello and welcome to the show. Ready for some sushi? Good, because I am too. Some researchers suggest that eating sushi may boost everything from your gut health to your thyroid and immune functions. And sushi bars are always good for a chic, trendy, and really tasty dining experience. My first guest is Sachi Nakato Takahara. She is the third generation owner of Nakato, Japanese restaurant, a really popular sushi spot and restaurant here in Atlanta. But for Sachi, this is much more than food. This is a family tradition that dates back for generations. Welcome to the show,
Thank you
Sachi.
for having me.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk about what this was like for you. You watched your mother, your grandmother. Mm-hmm. This is a long-standing tradition for you.
Yes, I grew up in the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm.
I remember earning my first $2. Exactly.
Oh, do you remember how old you were?
I was probably 12.
Wow.
Yes, and we were on Cheshire Bridge Road, and that building was built in the 90s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. So I remember in the first couple of years, I remember it getting built up and working inside the kitchen and having that reaction and interaction with the staff as well as the guests. So.
But long before that, this was something your mother was doing, your grandmother,
yes,
right?
Yes, my grandmother started the restaurant in the early 70s, 1972. So that is when...
And this is your beautiful...
Yes, that's my grandmother, and beautiful. That's me in the photo. Grandmother started it at the young age of 62.
Wow, that's amazing.
She did a southern tour and fell in love with Atlanta and decided to, start another business because she went through wars and started from scratch, so it wasn't anything new for her. And so this new adventure for her.
A beautiful immigrant experience.
Yes,
right?
And my uncle was already here in Charlotte working in the cotton textile industry. And then my mother just graduated college and was a teacher in Japan. And so she wanted to leave something, a legacy. And so here we are 52 years later.
Yeah, what a rich legacy that is to leave behind. But I think it's important to note, while you were watching your mother and grandmother in this industry, it's not what you dove straight into. You were actually interested in pottery.
Yes. So
Explain.
I ran as far as from the family business up to Boston for college. And then I found a paint your own pottery studio and fell in love with it. I had a great partner and we started our own pottery shop there and had a great 3 years doing that. And then one day I just realized my grandmother and what she built up in supporting 60 employees and their families was a bigger project for me to take on.
Yeah.
So I decided to come back to the family business. And
what did they say though when you first were like, hey, I'm going to Boston? Well, you were going to Boston for school, but when you were like, I'm not coming back to the restaurant, were they like, okay, go have your fun?
They actually gave me free reign to figure out what I wanted to do. And I appreciate that because it made me realize how fortunate I am.
Yeah.
And, as much as I was hustling in my own business in Boston, I just realized how much more work it was in the restaurant industry as a woman entrepreneur and
coming back to family, right? And coming back to this family tradition.
Yes, and I have my sister, she was in college at UGA too, so we were doing tag teaming where she would come back on the weekends to help out the restaurant as well. So it was a really nice connection, and being there together was worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the experience been like for you, knowing the lessons that you had from your mother and for your grandmother, but for you in this space?
Yes. So there's a lot of pressure because it's a legacy business. I don't want it going the wrong way on my terms. And so, but a few years back, I realized what my strengths can be, and each generation had its own homework. One was to stabilize the business and to make it a really great business concept, and then to continue that over and over again every day is a feat. And then for my generation, it was to bring the technology, the restaurant landscape has changed so much in the past 20 years. So what I was able to offer to them was social media, online reservation bookings, anything that's trending in Japan that I can bring over to the States. And I even took my chefs out there to get some inspiration and bring it back. And so that kind of engagement, and as long as you're doing your best, that's all I can really do for the family
but
business.
Hats off to you as well, because getting a restaurant, well, keeping it open is one thing. Keeping it open and surviving COVID and the pandemic is a totally different thing. Tell me about the lessons you learned, and your family was inspired to see you carry on.
It's
through
to roll
COVID.
with it. You're gonna. We've had so many instances, even in the neighborhood, where the 85 Bridge fiasco, and then Cheshire Bridge with the fire underneath and having closures on the road. And that's all after COVID.
And for people who don't know, watching in other cities, there was a long stretch of time when construction completely derailed business.
And
you couldn't
detours
get to,
throughout the neighborhood and the residential area, as well as the other businesses that were affected. So I realized giving back to the community and being part of the community to become the solution. We pushed our agenda forward with the Piedmont Heights Alliance and just being part of the community.
And you've got big celebrities who come through.
Yes, we do. I've met many celebrities that I adore, and well, it started from my mother's generation.
Because I'm hoping people can tell that is President Jimmy Carter.
Well, governor
at the time.
At the time,
who went on to become president. So your mother, your family hosted dignitaries.
Yes, and it's the same way for the Japan side as well. When they do the Southern tour and land at Atlanta Hartsfield, the first stop is to get that comfort food, because they've been traveling so much and they want that hearty Japanese comfort food to keep their travels going.
Absolutely. Lots of good lessons. Lots of good lessons. This conversation is going to continue. When we return, you are going to meet Tanishka and Cameron. Now, they are in love with each other, and one is in love with sushi. The other says she wouldn't touch it with a 20-foot chopstick. They're here to share their special sushi experience. You're going to love this. They'll be with us right after the break. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe. And go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon. Portia.